routine might look a little different. But yeah, just taking a moment to start your day in silence, having an affirmation for the day, like what is it I'm trying to accomplish today, and making that known to yourself. And then, taking time to visualize what you'd like to accomplish, exercise. Right now, obviously, it's gotten a lot warmer here in the Midwest, so maybe popping outside for a quick walk, reading, and then maybe taking some time to write down your goals for the day or journaling at the end of the day. So I did find a great article that had some other self-care tips, so I will drop that link in the chat. But then I can go. Lexi, could you hit the next slide? I don't know if
Oh, she's on mute.
Oh, I apologize. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Something that UPS is doing to support wellness. So my Evie, if you haven't had the opportunity to log into the benefits portal, this is a great perk that we all have access to. Wanted to plug it quick because the deadline is coming up here on June 30th for the wellness credit. And then for the wellness gift card, that's coming up on September 30th. So if you go in, you just do your quick benefits quiz. It only took me about 5 minutes, and then it'll give you a categorized list of activities that you can work towards and then get that wellness credit. So something for us all to check out if you haven't already.
Fantastic. Thank you for that share, Christina. Coming from the Health and Safety Department, one of the things that affect our bare bonus dollars, and I'm sure you've all heard it, is the participation in the My eVibe app. I don't know if I said it right, Christina. I think you said it differently than me.
I think I pronounced it incorrectly, but either
I'm not
works,
sure any
right?
of us know what it's called. We are really trying to push the participation for the eVibe app. Like Christina said, it's very easy. It's something that I've done every year. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of the health and safety professionals in your area or any of us on the BRG. We can help you with getting through that. So next we'll move on to the introductions of the BRG. Unfortunately, Tom Nolte is not able to be with us today. He is in Atlanta in a meeting. He is our staff sponsor, and he used to be the Director of Business Development for the Northern Plains, now newly the Customer Solutions Director. And then I am Lexi DeQuinzio. I am the chairperson of the BRG this year. I have been fortunate enough to be on the BRG since about 2016 and afforded the opportunity to take the lead reins. I've been with the company for about 10 years now. I am a health and safety supervisor stationed in Omaha. I'm responsible for the transportation side. I've got Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, and then also helping out with the Omaha package division as of right now as well. It's always hard to get to the personal stuff about you. It's really easy to rattle off the UPS stuff, right? For myself, I love anything outdoors. I grew up in northern Minnesota, skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, ice fishing, hunting, fishing, everything. So anything that is a workout that doesn't feel like a workout is my favorite. Other than that, we have a couple of cats and some very exciting news. I have a baby girl that is due for a special delivery in November of this year. It'll be our first child, so I'm super excited. All right, KJ. Thank you. KJ, I'll pass it over to you.
Hey, awesome. I'm in the car like a great area sales manager does, going and selling gun shipping and all that weird stuff, right, in North Dakota. So hi, everybody. My name is KJ Swagert. I am an area sales manager. I have the team in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Central Minnesota. So I learned it was one of the largest geos in the country last week. So there you go. I'm living in my car. As you can see, it's super fun. I've been a part of the BRG for 2 years now as a chair member. So happy to have you all here. I'm a mom of 2 young boys and a wife of a high school math teacher. So my hobbies right now are sleeping and taking baths with the door locked so no one can bug me. Maybe that resonates with a lot of you. Nice to see you all.
I'm Nicole Deschler. I am a co-chair with the WBRG for Northern Plains. I've been with UPS for 19 years. I just celebrated 19 years this month. And I've actually been part of the WLD, WBRG for a little over 10 years when things started up in Wisconsin. I currently handle the southeastern area of Wisconsin, kind of a large chunk of southeastern Wisconsin. For me, outside of UPS, I have a newly 10-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son who are involved in just about everything you can imagine. So, you know, it's carting them everywhere and anywhere they can possibly, you know, sign up for things. And like KJ, I try to lock my door and try to read as I'm an avid reader and try to get that a little bit of that me time in. Christina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can go next. Hey everyone, again, my name is Christina Zane. I am based in the Twin Cities area, currently living in Minneapolis. I'm a new account executive to the Northern Plains, and I graduated from UW Eau Claire 1 year ago. So I was part of the class of COVID and have just been enjoying getting my career started here at UPS. Some things that I love to do outside of work would be going up north to the cabin with my family. Love to ski as well, like Lexi was saying, and just take part on doing things on the lake now that the summer months have started here. So yeah, looking forward to working with everyone here and getting to know some of your faces.
Awesome. I'm Lisa Fink. I have been with UPS for only 3 years. I have a previous career of many years as a project engineer. So this is a new, exciting transition for me. I am in base, formerly known as plant engineering, and reside in the greater Milwaukee area, but have all the extended center, well, half of the extended centers for our area. So I don't have any kids. I have a dog, and I like to do outdoor things as well. That's it for me.
Awesome,
Corey?
thanks, Lisa. Corey, did you happen to join the call? All right, I do not see Corey on the call as of right now. I know she had a region error call that she needed to be on, so she may plan to pop on a little bit later. Corey Gatchie is the hub manager in Sioux Falls. She has the Sioux Falls, Fargo, and Bismarck hubs that she's responsible for, newly added member to our committee this year. All right, well, I'm sure the part that everybody's been waiting for, we will turn it over to Fern. And Fern, as I look at this slide, I'm really interested to hear the story about you meeting P. Diddy, if you can work that in.
Wow, it's like one of my favorite pictures in life. You know, number one, one thing that you'll get to learn about me, and I'm so flattered that everyone's excited to meet me. I'm just a normal woman. And the Iowa team really knows that about me. I can't believe I've met P. Diddy. It was so weird. Anyways, so just a little bit about me. And it really starts with my grandparents, and I'll just kind of give you history just to kind of give you perspective. And then please excuse me if my voice is kind of in and out. I'm nine months pregnant. I'm 16 days away from giving birth. And when you're pregnant, they don't let you have any of the good drugs. So all I could take was Tylenol, and I can't take anything that's worth it. And honestly, if I could have like a Sudafed, I would, but I can't. So yeah, that's the explanation behind my voice. In terms of who I am, my grandparents, they're from China. So by blood, I'm Chinese. My parents were raised in Thailand. They were raised in Thailand because my grandparents were escaping communism. At some point in the late 70s, my parents came to the US. Oh, sorry, one second. Sorry, I just had a DoorDash delivery. I got some juice. Okay, my parents came to the US and they came with the intent of going to school in Boston. They actually never really were successful at it. They moved to LA, and that's where my story begins. I was born in Los Angeles, California. And I was born during a time where they became illegal immigrants because their student visas had run out. And so during that time, they really had no money. They had like nothing. And they were actually talking to me about how they were raising me behind somebody's couch at some point because they really had nothing. And I think it's crazy to think that, my mom told me that she had to use cloth diapers because they couldn't afford anything. We were raised off of food stamps, any government program in Los Angeles, you name it, I was part of it. My clothes were from the Salvation Army. I really had nothing growing up. And, around when I was like 5 years old, they had to kind of get away from all the immigration activities. So they went up north, and I was essentially raised in Reno, Nevada. I consider myself like full Nevadan. I could tell you all kinds of weird facts, like the state bird. I know the Nevada state song. So I've been brainwashed by the Nevada education system. That's where I was raised. And the part of the community where I was raised, and it kind of just ties back into some of the questions that Lexi put together. I was raised in an all-white community. No one really looked like me. And I was bullied a lot as a little kid. And it started from grade school on. All the kids always looked at me like, why does your hair look like that? Why do your eyes look like that? You look different. Why did your mom pack you rice for lunch? And I couldn't explain all this stuff. I just knew that I was different. And it really actually is the strength of why I am where I am today, because all of the struggles that I went through as a kid is just so much harder than whatever I deal with now. And at some point, I went to school, University of Nevada, Reno, and I got my bachelor's degree. Right out of school, I worked for the Department of Defense for a year. I thought that was like the dream job. Oh my goodness, I found a government job. I hated my life. I only worked 4/10s, which was crazy, right? Sounds like a dream, but if anytime you have a job where you have a 3-day weekend, the number one problem you have is that you're broke, because every weekend you find ways to spend money. And I was really broke, and I hated my job because the pace of work didn't make sense. I always wanted to accomplish things, and I was just surrounded by people that really didn't want to get anything done. And so I had a friend that worked at UPS, and she was an intern, and that's pretty much what started my journey. Lexi, if you don't mind, can I just show my resume? Because I don't like saying all this, but I want to show all the jobs that I've had at UPS.
Go ahead, feel free to share.
Yes, here you go. And I typically just like to share this just because I don't like to say it all. It's just too much at some point. Hold on. Can you see my screen? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so these are all the jobs that I've had at UPS. I started out as an intern. And my first full-time assignment, which was crazy, was an on-road supervisor. I'm 5'2". I can't even see shelf 2 or shelf 1. I had to stand on shelf 2, driving the old-fashioned package cars with the clutch. It was pretty crazy, but it taught me a lot about the kind of woman that I am. And then you can see my jobs here. I worked in IE as a district assessor. That was a former job. I was a package planner. I was a PDS. I was an IE, a planner again in Nevada, and then I became a business manager, which was pretty overwhelming, but I enjoyed that job a lot. And then I went back into the IE group, and then I became a inside manager. I ran the preload and the local sort. And then I went back into IE, and then I became a package division manager, an ops manager in St. Louis. That was my relocation to St. Louis back in 2016. And then I became a district manager back in 2016. So 11 years after being at UPS. I ran the formerly known as Central Plains District, which was Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, and Arkansas. And then in 2018, after my third baby, so I'm going to stop sharing. After my third baby, I came back to work after 7 weeks. And I still remember this conversation. It was with Charlene Thomas, our current diversity and inclusion officer. I said, Charlene, I got to get back to work. My kids and my husband and my 2 dogs are driving me crazy. I get back to work after 7 weeks. And then a week later, I got this new assignment in LA. I'm actually sitting in LA right now because I haven't moved yet because I'm pregnant still. So yeah, that's a little bit about my history. In terms of my family, I have one husband. I don't know why anyone would want more than one significant other. One husband, 2 dogs, 3 kids. They're 9, 7, and 2. And yeah, we're about to have another one, a girl. So I'll have 3 girls and 1 boy. And at this point, my husband, in order for me to do what I do, he doesn't work because at some point it just doesn't make any sense. I'd say he's the main reason why I'm able to have this type of success that I have, because not many significant others would be willing to even deal with what I do at UPS and even deal with just me and my personality in general. So I'm very grateful to him. You know, I met him on eHarmony about, I'd say 11, 12 years ago when it was weird. Now it's normal, but when I did it, it was weird. I was an on-road supervisor and people were like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know, but I feel like this is an efficient process. And so it does work. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. Since you want to know about the Puff Daddy picture, which I think is probably the coolest picture, no offense to everybody else, but here in LA, like I live in part of LA where I'm surrounded by celebrities and it's really weird. It's the weirdest thing ever. Like I live like 5 minutes away from the Kardashians. Like it's just like Hollywood, right? It's a weird, really weird place. And I went to a farm. It was a couple of falls ago, I think 2019, where it's like you go and pick pumpkins and you do that family farm kind of stuff. And this was the end of the afternoon. And my kids wanted to go to the goat feeding area where you could feed baby goats milk. And so I'm just standing there. I'm pretty irritated. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I just kind of want to go home. And we're standing in line to feed these goats. And we walk in with this family and I'm not really paying attention because I'm in my own zone. And me and my 2 kids, I still remember it. It was actually the 3 kids. I was like, okay, let's just get out of here, right? And so I get trapped into this like goat corral thing. And before I know it, I'm surrounded by this family that's wearing all red. They have like matching outfits. It looks ridiculous, but whatever. And they've got like people taking pictures of them. I'm like, why would somebody pay to have people take pictures of them while they're feeding goats? I'm like, this is like ridiculous, right? Who are these people? And I just look up and he was standing right next to me. And I started shaking and I was like, are you Puff Daddy? And then when I said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I called him Puff Daddy. Because as you know, he's gone through so many different names, right? What is he now? Sean? Cole? I don't know what he is. What's his name now? Diddy? No one knows?
Sean P.
I don't know
Diddy
what his
Combs,
name.
I think.
Oh, okay. See, there you go. And so I realized that when I called him Puff Daddy, I was completely aging myself, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. And the next stupidest thing that I did was I said, hi, I'm Fern Shaw. It's nice to meet you. Like he would care who I was, right? But anyways, I had him take a selfie with me. And so, yeah, that's like one of the coolest celebrity pictures that I've had. And we were stuck with his kids with a bunch of goats. It was so cool. Okay, so I just said a lot. Lexi, I'll turn it back to you. And I'm open to any questions. As you can see, I'm very much an open book about my life. I really have nothing to hide at this point. And yeah, that's who I am.
Awesome. Thanks, Fern. I found that picture of you and P. Diddy and I had to put it on there. I wanted to hear the story behind it.
Yeah. It's like the coolest memory I've ever had. Like, it was just so weird. I can't even make it up, you know?
Oh, that is awesome. All right, so we will do some Q&A from the audience. I did ask for people to send some questions in via our BRG email. So I've got a couple here that we'll start off with, and then we'll open it up to the group. So one of the first questions that we had for you, Fern, was, as a female leader, what has been the most significant barrier in your career?
I would say myself. And I say that because for the most part, the beginning part of my career before, I would say my district manager assignment in California, I was very much stuck in my head. So the first part of my career was, in order for me to be successful and move up at a company, I need to be like a man. So I had this idea that if I acted like a man, sounded like a man, dressed like a man, I would get promoted. And I was constantly stuck in my own mind of what people wanted me to be versus just being myself. So I say that my biggest barrier was getting myself out of my own head, being myself, and just living my true truth, right? Instead of trying to be everybody else that I thought they expected me to be.
Well, I think the next question that we have ties in pretty well with that. So what is some of the advice that you would share with young women who are entering a male-dominated profession or industry?
You know, my number one piece of advice, and I got this from Rosemary Turner when I worked in North Cal, she told me, again, to just be myself. Stop trying to be like anybody else. I need to be myself. And in this new district that I'm in, you'll see that I am just myself. I'm not trying to be like any of your other district managers. I'm not trying to be a man. I'm not trying to be another woman. I'm not trying to be another anybody. And I really just, I lead from my heart, as cheesy as it sounds. And I just want to make sure that I continue to lead with the legacy that Jim Casey built. But other than that, I just do what I know is right. And that's how I make decisions. I don't really follow some type of script. And what you can see is that it's extremely easy for me at this point to just lead because I'm not trying, if that makes sense. Like even for this call and this great introduction, Lexi, I didn't have to practice. I don't have anything ready because this is just my story and this is who I am. So I just urge everyone to stop being so scared and just let it all out. Stop putting up a front with not only yourself, but just everybody else, right?
That's some great advice. Thank you.
And I know it's easier said than done, though.
Well, to go along with that, we'll turn it over to the audience. Does anyone have a question for Fern? Don't be shy, let down your fronts.
Okay, this is Kelly Roberts in Des Moines, Iowa. I don't have a question, but I did want to, first of all, welcome you back, Fern. I really like to see you back in our world again. One of the things that I learned from Fern the last time that she was with us is that words are important. So words of appreciation are important, but sometimes those can be easily forgotten. Fern, and I don't know if you still do this, so I hope I'm not going to ruin something, but Fern used to love to send little gifts when you had done something to show appreciation. And Fern, little do you know, one year, I, of course, like many supervisors, got sent out during peak season to go drive a whole lot. And I was literally gone for like weeks from my home. I would come home for one day and I'd head back out. So I didn't get very much done. So I got to come home on a Christmas Eve and I drove home and I literally had like stale potato chips and maybe some moldy fruit and whatever in my refrigerator. But as I pulled in my driveway, there was a little brown box waiting for me. And in that box was caramel apples and little pretzel sticks. And that was my Christmas meal that year.
No
way.
So
I just really want to say that that's what I remember about you, is that it wasn't just the words, it was your actions. And I'm really excited to have you back.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. I'm really glad to be back. I'm so excited. I can't even explain it.
Fern, hi, this is Dana.
Hi, Dana.
I was wondering if you experience with having children, if you take calls from home, that you get the normal interruptions or kids screaming in the background at times.
Yes, and I just tell people to speak louder.
That's good.
Even my boss. He's like, can you talk? I'm like, yeah, you just might have to be loud. I don't know. And if you don't want to listen to it, then we won't talk. I used to spend the beginning part of my year hiding from, or part of my career hiding from my kids anytime somebody from work called. I don't do that anymore. I'm a mom. That's my life. And if they want to call during that time, during dinner time or bath time, that's their prerogative, right? And most of the time, people don't want to talk to you when your kids are screaming. So it's actually a great way to get people off the phone. Sometimes I've run towards my kids when my boss calls, but hopefully he's not on this call. That's a hack. Get your kids to cry. You might have to pinch them or something, right? I'm just kidding. I don't do that. Don't do that, Lexi.
I have a question around personal goal setting. Do you take like time in the beginning of the year to set personal goals? Or is it a monthly basis, or what does that look like for you?
I would say, I turned 40 about a month ago, which is very weird because I think it's a time where you start to look at everything and you map out, okay, if I die at this time, I have 40 more years. What am I going to do with the rest of my life? Am I really happy? The same things that mattered in your first 40 years just don't matter anymore. And I would say this, Tammy, I'm constantly reevaluating what's important to me in terms of what do I want to be known for when I'm gone? What do I want to leave behind? Because it's all about the impact that you leave on this earth. And I often think about this, right? When at my eulogy, will they ever talk about me being a district manager? No, no one will care. Will that ever be on my headstone? No. It's not about the work that you do. It's about the people that you've impacted. And I've got to believe that one day people are going to show up at my funeral, because I think that would be sad if like no one showed up, right? And so that's kind of what I think about in terms of goals. What am I ultimately trying to achieve in my lifetime? And I firmly believe that's how everything will line up. And as you can see, if you enjoy what you're doing, work is not work anymore. It's just part of who you are. And for me, UPS has allowed me to be who I am, as eccentric as I am. And, for that, I'm very grateful, because I think without UPS's support, I would not be where I am today, nor would I feel so excited to be able to leave a legacy, if that makes sense. But yes, Tammy, I'm always reevaluating my goals, probably more than what I'm even articulating. It's just constant.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I think there was someone else.
Yeah, I had a question, Fern. This is Christina. I thought it was pretty cool to see all the roles you've held within UPS.
Yes.
Was that something that you always, like, did you know when it was the right time to embrace that next role? Or is that something that was the challenge, I guess, as you navigated your career?
Yeah, that's a great question. I can't keep my mouth shut. So what would happen was anytime I was put into a new assignment, I would obviously, number one, I would struggle. I would figure it out. And then by the time I figured it out and I excelled at it, I would start to verbalize how bored I was getting. I'm like, is this it? I'm bored. I need more. And I start to show signs of boredom and I start to articulate it. And I firmly believe that my big mouth kind of puts me in this situation where I'm relocating now to Minneapolis because, I was saying this in South Cal, I'd say in the last year or so, I've been kind of like, is this it? Am I going to die in LA? Like that song, Live and Die in LA. I'm like, is this the rest of my life? And I'm like, okay, there's got to be more. So that's kind of how that journey has been. It's self-imposed, but at the same time, UPS has been willing to take a chance with me, I would say, and put me in these assignments that I never even thought I could be successful in. Like I never knew I could drive a package car. I didn't know I could run a preload, even though I've never been a preloader. I didn't know I could run a package division. I didn't know I could run a district. I mean, South Cal district, when I left, I was managing like 50,000 employees at that point. The staff was like a staff of 53. So it's just, it's amazing to just think about it, but it's all opportunities that I think that both UPS and I have accepted and we've been okay with. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just diving in, it sounds like.
Yeah, and every time I have babies, I get a new assignment. That's part of the problem. I don't know. Maybe I should stop having kids.
We have time for one more question.
Lexi, I'll take that for you. Fern, my name's Melissa Auerda. I've been a
Hi.
10-year UPSer, currently an account executive with business development.
Okay.
What has been your favorite role or job at both UPS and outside of UPS?
I would say my favorite job at UPS is being a preload manager. For me, I love seeing immediate results. And when you run a preload, you know that day whether or not you won or you lost the game. And so to me, there's such a high running a preload and really trying to beat your plans and just win. In terms of role, just in life in general, I don't know, that's interesting. I really just enjoy being a connector and bringing out the best in people. I really love developing people. I love coaching others. I love uplifting others and really helping to get people to where they want to be and really helping people get the confidence that they need in order to do whatever they want to do. So I'm very much a giver. I give probably more than I receive, but I don't care. That's how I feel good about myself and my life in general. So
Great insight. Thank you for the answer.
you're so welcome. Hey, Lexi, if I know this is not part of your script, but if we want to continue these questions, I can do this until about 2. Or no,
Fair
what time
enough.
is it there? 3:30?
3:30.
I can do this till 4.
Okay, fair enough. We do have a few other things to cover as far as the
Okay.
BRG meeting, though. Would you be
Yeah.
open to submission of questions after the meeting, however?
Yes, we'll do that.
Okay, fantastic. We'll have a slide about where you can email us, but feel free to send any other questions that you have for Fern. I think she just volunteered herself to do an interview series with the BRG. All right, so we are going to turn it over to Nicole. Nicole is going to go over the history of the women's leadership.
Oh, Lexi, do you want to
We're going
pass
to
this
turn it over to Lisa, and
Lisa.
Lisa is going to talk about Girls on the Run and the volunteer opportunity we have coming up.
Okay, yes. How about a fundraiser? So Girls on the Run is a nonprofit organization that has events all over the country. There's an event coming up with Girls on the Run in southeastern Wisconsin that's virtual. So, which means obviously it's not a group gathering like they usually are, which is a little more impactful, but with COVID still among us, unfortunately, this is a great opportunity to keep moving. So the way it works is you can pick whatever distance you want and run when you want, where you want, choose the place, the time, and go to your happy place and run your happy pace. So anyone could do it. The donation is $30, and this can be done on the website girlsontherun.org, but if you want to go directly to the southeastern Wisconsin location, it's Girls on the Run southeasternwi.org. So for $30, go to the next slide. Besides the run, you get this virtual or versatile neck gaiter and your bib number to don while you're participating in your race. So the awesome thing about Girls on the Run is it teaches our youth to, inspires them to get physical, set goals, set training schedules, execute race day, and just get that personal achievement so they can feel good about themselves. And then do it over and over again. And if there's any runners out there, you have your personal best that you're always trying to exceed. So this is a great event to get the young girls and family and basically everyone out there going. And also, if you're interested in the organization and becoming a coach, you could coach another girl to go through that training and participate in the run. So looking forward to the run and to future events that are in person. So stay tuned. If you're on vacation looking for a 5K or traveling, go to the site. There's always something somewhere, anywhere from Alaska to Hawaii. And lastly, there are some hashtags at the bottom if you want to share your photos on social media. Any questions? I see we had some in chat, so we'll provide any information, further information that you need. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your share, Lisa. Now moving on, if I have our script right, I believe Nicole is up.
Yes. So many of you ladies and gentlemen that are on the call as well have been part of the WLD, the BRG for the women's group. I just kind of want to give like a broad spectrum of what the WBRG is, where we've been within Northern Plains, because there's been some changes. So the WLD, Women's Leadership Development, was set up about 15 years ago. And some of you may have been part of the original setup. I think I saw Wendy Reinschmidt on the call, and I think Wendy here in Wisconsin, you might have been part of that getting set up here in the Wisconsin area. So I was able to actually be part of that shortly after it was set up and kind of better understand what the goals of the organization were and for the women's leadership group. And then things started to transform into these BRG groups that we have today. So things kind of morphed into the BRG group. So we've been around and established within UPS for quite some time. And many of you may have already been part of the WLD prior to the BRG starting out. But when the Northern Plains, when transformation, first, I guess, one of our first transformations happened and things started to consolidate into Northern Plains, our women's leadership development groups were kind of split up. We had the Wisconsin group and we had the Minnesota group. I know recently Iowa was brought into Northern Plains, and from what I understand, Iowa had their own WBRG as well. So we were all kind of doing our own individual meetings. Sometimes we would cross paths and try to do some type of joint meetings. And then at the end of 2019, we started to have some discussions between Minnesota, Wisconsin, and bringing in our Iowa partners to say, we should really all come together as one BRG instead of doing our own separate things, and really bring the networking opportunities to all the women within our district instead of just within, the same four walls of our state. So really what the future of the WLD BRG looks like is having all of Northern Plains under one group. And we're really hoping that, as things change over the course of, the next year, that there will be maybe some more in-person things. So we'll be able to still have some of that connection with the local people, but really wanting to have that outreach to everybody within the district to get on a different platform of just, like I mentioned, just being within the same people that we've already met. So I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to meet one another. I'm excited to see how many people have joined us this afternoon. I'm looking forward to getting to know and making those connections with all of you. But that's really kind of where we've been within the WBRG and kind of where we're taking the future here in Northern Plains and what that'll look like being one BRG for our WBRG for our district. any questions or comments on just kind of where the WBRG has been, where we're kind of looking to go. We will certainly be looking for feedback as we move forward, because this is kind of new territory for all of us, kind of coming under one umbrella. No, well, there will be lots more opportunity to get feedback, and we'll certainly want that. So look forward to getting to know all of you a lot more in the next year.
Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate your time to share the history of the BRG. This is one of the best networking and business resource group. It's a resource to meet people across the district. I know just being in this group since 2016, I've met different people. I know Nicole and KJ and Christina in business development, should I ever have an issue, and especially Tom as well. I'm able to reach out to, somebody that I'm comfortable talking to. All right, so Corey Gatchie had joined the group. Corey, we introduced you before you got on. Feel free to do a quick introduction. She's going to talk about the blood drive that she has organized.
Hi all, sorry for me being a little bit tardy. I had another call at the same time, so I appreciate that. I'm Corey Gatchie, if I have not met you. There's quite a few faces on here that I've seen before. So I am the hub manager for the Dakotas, so I have North and South Dakota. I would just kind of like to make a quick note before I go over my slide with what Lexi had stated. This Women in Leadership BRG, it's a platform that I really appreciate over especially the last couple of years, right? It gives us the opportunity to vent a little, per se, about different things that are going on. But I cannot say, with as much honesty as I possibly can, in agreement with Fern. In the last 4 years, I don't know how many times I've told my husband, could you keep her quiet for 30 seconds? Just take her into the other room, or maybe downstairs and play Barbies, whatever that looks like, right? But it's so nice to know that no matter where you're at in this company, that you have somebody else, right, on the same platform that's going through the same thing, and you're able to speak about it. Because I can tell you, Fern, what you had just stated before was great. It makes me feel like, hey, if I have to answer this and she is not very happy, then that is going to be how it's going to be today, and we're going to continue through this. So I appreciate that. So to go away from that, we're hosting a blood drive here in Sioux Falls. We did this last year, and it went over pretty well. We ended up hosting it on a Monday, which I'm super excited this year. We're hosting it on a Friday, which I believe will give us more opportunity to get participants. I reached out to my counterparts, package and feeder managers in Sioux Falls, starting to spread the word. So obviously we're having the mobile blood bank come to Sioux Falls, getting that set up, and we're allowing people to have the opportunity to give blood. Volunteering can be tough for some people, right? Some of us are at UPS several hours, or there's other things our kids have going on. There's family things. But realistically, 10 minutes to give blood, could we do that? And that's kind of how I've given it to the people in this building too, right? You have the opportunity with one donation, 10 minutes of your time, to impact 3 lives. Last year we had 15 donations, so we impacted 45 lives. If you speak to the blood bank community, obviously that's the impact of potentially saving 45 lives. Only 5% of the population donates blood, while 8 to 10 of us will require blood products in our lifetime, which is a very interesting fact. Blood also needs to be collected daily, as red blood cells have a shelf life of 42 days. I will say the one thing about giving blood is that there's a lot of people that do not give blood just simply on the fact that they have not been asked to donate. And I think that's what a lot of the volunteer stuff that we try to get out and PCM and send emails and talk to our friends here and our partners, is we're just trying to spread the word. So if anything on this platform today, that's my thing, right? Let's just spread the word. Obviously in Sioux Falls, we're having the mobile blood bank come here, but I would love for all of you and our partners at UPS to here, there, anywhere, Friday, June 11th, to go to your local community blood bank and donate blood. So see how many people we can get and how many lives that we can save and impact on that day. And then obviously you can post it on Twitter and we can collect the tally. So thank you. Let me know if there's any questions, but otherwise join us on our blood drive on Friday, June 11th.
Corey, thank you so much for putting that together. That's fantastic. All right, now for our next guest speaker, we have Kate Kane, who is the community relations manager. She was going to talk to you a little bit about volunteering.
Thanks, Lexi. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Nice to see some familiar faces. So I'll just breeze through a few things really quickly. There's a couple of people on the call who are partners here with the Community Involvement Committee. What community relations is just really independent work, taking kind of what used to be the hat of the HR managers and taking care of all things community. So this is a great platform for us to get involved. Corey with the blood drive, with the Girls on the Run and other things that come out. Want to make sure that we manage the budget through sponsorships and charitable and grants, as well as drive neighbor to neighbor volunteer hours and work with the community involvement committees in making the decisions about who we're going to give money to and funding through the requests that we get. So if you've got an organization that you've got your heart and hands wrapped around, it's a good opportunity to go ahead and get a request form from myself or anyone on the Community Involvement Committee. Submit that. We review those requests once a month. Sometimes throw out some emails on some ad hoc requests that we'd like to get pushed through rather quickly. And then we can go ahead and get those funding support to the organizations through grants and or sponsorships. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide if you would, please. There we go. Just a little bit about the neighbor to neighbor site. And the neighbor to neighbor site is where you can go to log hours, right? Volunteer hours that you do. I can also go there and open up an activity. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and host an activity for the blood drive for Corey in Sioux Falls. I could post it on the neighbor to neighbor site. So then when people go and enter their volunteer hours, it's already an active event for people to log into. So that's something to keep in mind. If you've got a volunteer event, you've got enough people, or you're looking for a few more to add for an event, let me know and I can post that on the neighbor to neighbor site. But the facilities, opportunities for skill building, leadership development, which is all about what the BRG is good for. One of the reasons that I'm here today to talk about the neighbor to neighbor and getting back out there is, right, as things continue to open up and as people continue to feel safe and comfortable, we really do need to drive those neighbor to neighbor hours. Still trying to cultivate opportunities virtually as well as face to face so that we can meet everyone's needs for some of those people that are ready to get back at it and other people who would like to just still have, be very cautious. Currently, the neighbor to neighbor in Northern Plains, the goal is 75,036 hours. And right now we're at 8,137. So we've got some work to do in the district, that is for certain. But when I was speaking with Fern earlier, we just really wanted to get the message back out that if you're feeling comfortable, if your teams are ready to commit, it's perfectly fine, right, as things open up to get back out there and volunteer. If you want to go to the next slide there, Lexi, please. What counts as neighbor to neighbor hours? A lot of things, really anything. Planting trees, coaching a children's sporting activity, donating blood at the blood drive, teacher volunteering at your school, temple, any place like that, managing a booth or a silent auction table at any event, UPS sponsored or otherwise, road code instructor, we'll get to that a little bit later on, but really anything that you do in the community. We're trying to get more hours towards our UPS call to action That is 1,000,000 hours. Carol Tomei asked us to get 2 organizations that specifically impact Black communities and people of color. So if you have things like that, again, that you're trying to get volunteers for, please let me know. The other part of volunteering and neighbor to neighbor is really building that community, right? What community relations is doing is part of public affairs, is really at a grassroots kind of growing relationships with city and county officials, with when we need something in a specific community in Brainerd or a North Extended or a South Extended or somewhere in Iowa, what do we need to do and who do we need to contact? The thicker, deeper community relations that we have through volunteerism, through funding of sponsorships and grants, is going to help us develop all those stronger relationships. In a leadership position, it's time to lead our people back to ours. It's time to lead our people to volunteer again. I know Fern is going to be really a great advocate for volunteering, for community, and for committees. But it's really time for us to start leading our folks back into volunteering. One of the things, I'll be brief with this real quick, that we're going to position the BRG for, and earlier we talked a little bit about the BRGs and how those are going to change a little bit. Charlene Thomas held a call talking about how the BRG was going to see a reset, and what that focus and design for her and the rest of the ELT is that BRGs also include a big reach into the community, as well as part-time supervisors and hourly employees. So one of the things that the community relations managers are trying to do is to get each BRG or committee to kind of wrap their arms and hearts around an organization. And I think one that we're going to choose here that we've done a lot of work with in the past is Dress for Success. So we've got a sponsorship coming up pretty soon here at Twin Cities sponsorship, Dress for Success, and as well as some volunteer opportunities that are going to come our way so that we can get involved, build that relationship again with Dress for Success, help empower women, be part of a new coalition that they have called, Lexi, help me with that. What's the name of that coalition again?
I believe it's the IDEA Coalition.
The IDEA Coalition, right. And that is really empowering women, as well as a workforce development arm to try to get women back to work. So it's something that's going to be really cool. You'll hear more about Dress for Success and opportunities there. Any questions you have surrounding the entire district, whether you're in transportation, package, part of the Northern Plains, or part of that new structure, we haven't broken all that stuff out yet. So I've got answers. I can certainly help lead you in the right direction. If you want a request form, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Do not hesitate. Happy to help in whatever capacity I can. Thanks for the time, Lexi.
Thank you so much, Kate. I definitely appreciate you being here to discuss the volunteer opportunities in your new role. For anyone that wants to reach out for Kate, she is an absolute ray of sunshine. She will turn your day around, even if you just call her to chat. So I highly recommend reaching out for her. And if you do have any volunteer opportunities where you want the help of the WLD BRG, we are more than happy to grab onto that, to rally our members, send the information out to the district, and create that community to be able to help our communities. All right, next thing on the docket is KJ with our social media outlets.
Absolutely. I just have to say to Corey, I have the team in Sioux Falls, so if you want some fresh veins, I'll send them your way, okay? Jen, are you hearing that? Just throwing that out there, girl. All right, awesome. So great information. I found this really interesting that with the pandemic and all the ways that we are now digitally connecting, in January 2021, it was measured that over 4 billion people are now connecting on digital platforms right from cellular devices. So that has actually grown immensely. So as our BRG, we needed to grow that as well. So as you can see here, we have a lot of different ways for you to connect with the BRG. Pick your favorite. I, for one, have no idea what a tweet means, so I'm going to stick with like the other avenues. But whatever's your favorite, whatever you're into, there's a lot of different ways to connect with our team. Any questions that you have for the group, the opportunities that you heard today with the blood drive, with Girls on the Run, with volunteering as part of Neighbor to Neighbor, Again, Kate's a great resource. You can also email the group at the email you see on top, NPWBRG. We're at UPS and everything has an acronym, right? So our acronym at ups.com to get a hold of us directly. And we're really excited to further connect with everybody. So thank you very much.
Thank you, KJ. And we tried to record this meeting today. After this ends, we'll see if the fruits of my labor today with TSG for an hour on the phone actually worked. We do have our past meeting from last year before the pandemic hit. Our guest speaker was Kimberly Britton. We do have that out on our YouTube channel, and hopefully this will go up sometime this week. So if any of your partners missed it or you jumped on late and wanted to review the beginning of it, you most definitely can. All right. Well, in the interest of time, we kept this at an hour. I'm super happy. I'm sure we all could have spoke a lot more, most definitely. I just want to open it up real quick. I know everyone has asked if there's any questions. Is there anyone who wants to make a comment or has a question about the meeting today? Okay, I will take the silence as golden and that we put on a fantastic meeting for you all today. Definitely appreciate the time everyone took to sit down and gather together for the BRG. We definitely can't have this without all of you. So definitely appreciate the time for everyone to get on. We will be sending out a survey after this of kind of how the meeting went, what your thoughts were. You can answer it anonymously, most definitely. And we'll be asking what you'd like to see upcoming from the BRG in the future for this year. So, all right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. Appreciate it. Everyone have a good day and a good rest of your week.
Thank you, Lexi.